Whew, man, that's kind of nice not having the Lions pulling an L. I mean, I could go with the low-hanging fruit and say that even the Lions managed to figure out how to lose on the bye week, but we're not going to take that route there. No. We're just going to talk about a couple of things that were made clearly evident this week, watching very successful coaching staff make smart decisions versus what we have in Detroit. It's going to be a rough year.
Welcome to Detroit.
All right, hey guys, welcome back. As you know, I'm Hat and Beard. Go ahead and click like and subscribe. That'd be cool. I'd really appreciate that. You guys were coming off the bye week, so there's not a whole lot to talk about. Not a lot of Lions-related news. Not a lot of transactions going on. I guess the big talking point is that, hey, maybe Zach Pascal's going to play this week. Which will be good because one of the knocks that's been surrounding our GM Brad Holmes is that he likes to draft injured players. Injured players that then turn out to not be productive. I mean, Levi Onwuzurike, right? J-Mo, haven't seen him on the field yet. Fedi Melifonwu, hurt, dinged up, right? You know, you see a lot of guys that we come in, we draft them kind of dinged up, and they're not really panning out. I'm not saying they're not going to pan out. I'm not saying J-Mo's not going to pan out. I'm not saying Zach Pascal's not going to pan out. I am saying it looks like Levi Onwuzurike is trending towards not panning out. We can get some of these players back. It'll be nice to come off of a bye, not have, in the negativity of the New England game, the shutout that we had happen to us, surrounding us, maybe get back to basics, get the team more back on track because it's looking like Dan Campbell's losing the locker room there. You know, that's never a good thing, especially as a second-year coach in the middle of a rebuild. But what I want to talk about, namely, is during the bye week, I got to actually watch other teams, and I got to watch other teams not in just consuming football, but just like I got to enjoy watching the games, man. Like, I wasn't stressed out. I wasn't mad that my team had lost or was going to lose or whatever. I watched two games in particular, man, and that was the Giants and the Baltimore Ravens and the Jets and Packers game. Robert Saleh, who is in the same coaching class as Dan Campbell, took over, a team that was in arguably just as bad of a situation. I mean, look, if you took, you could take, the Eagles. Well, I wouldn't say the Eagles because the Eagles have a little bit more flash in the pan, a little bit more in the cupboards as far as their defense was concerned, and no one really knew that Jalen Hurts was going to be sweet. I would say the Eagles and Nick Sirianni, but we're going to kind of put him out there as an outlier on his own. The Falcons and the Giants and the Jets versus Dan Campbell, right? Because those three teams are also in complete rebuilds, and those three teams are also in bad financial standing, as far as cap room to bring in free agents, they're going to spend on a lot of money. I mean, fuck, dude, the Giants went out and spent a bunch of money on Kenny Golladay, who's our trash, and he's garbage, right? So they're not in the most financially viable positions, just like Detroit is. They've been able to turn it around. How have they been able to turn it around? They've been able to turn it around with a solid running game and defense. That's about it, man. Yeah, no, they're not world beaters. The Jets' defense looks legit. Sauce Gardner looks legit, but they're not world beaters by any means, man. Zach Wilson at quarterback? No, game manager. He's a young kid. Yeah, he's on a rookie contract too, which helps even more, right? You got all these guys on rookie contracts. The Giants, they got a good defense and they run the ball well. That's how they're able to win. And they don't go for it on fourth down 4 times in a game. On 4th and 9, they run the ball well, and they have a serviceable enough defense. A defense that goes out and gets stops. A defense that goes out and creates turnovers, that gets pressure on quarterbacks. If you watch the Jets and Packers game, dude, the Jets were in Aaron Rodgers' face all day long. All day long. You realize that is the worst loss Aaron Rodgers has taken at Lambeau Field in his entire career? I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is washed. I'm saying that Robert Saleh clearly knows what he's doing as far as being a defensive-minded head coach and putting his players in position to succeed. Brian Daboll is a first-year head coach. He's 5-1. Daniel Jones is not an elite quarterback. Daniel Jones used to be a joke, man. Saquon Barkley, I hear people say. Saquon Barkley. Yeah, that would be a viable argument 3 years ago, before the injuries, before he tore up his knee, before he turned his ankle into the Goodyear blimp. Saquon Barkley, although still very talented, isn't the Saquon Barkley he was coming out of college, right? It's a different player. There's more miles on him. Just like you could say Christian McCaffrey isn't the same player that he once was, right? These guys get a lot of miles on them. They get broke down. They get wore out, and the league figures out how to stop them, right? Look at Najee Harris, man. Najee Harris is just, He's cheeks this year, man. He's just hot garbage. He's a munch, you know? How is it that Atlanta with Marcus Mariota and a bunch of scrubs, how is it that they're successful? How is it that these coaching staffs are able to put out arguably less talented offenses? I think Detroit's if you square up Detroit's offense against the Jets offense, the Giants offense, and the Eagles the Falcons offense. I mean, hell, the Eagles offense as well. I mean, we went punch for punch with them. Our defense just couldn't stop them, right? Our offense has way more talent on it than any of those teams across the board. Wide receivers, running backs, quarterback play. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Jared Goff. Jared Goff's been, elite Jared Goff this year, which is amazing. Couldn't ask for anything more out of him, right? And our offensive line is one of the top 5 offensive lines in football, right? How is it that these teams are able to be more successful? Defense, man. Defense. And their coaching staff, top to bottom, doesn't make poor decisions, man. Look, I get it, man. I get it, Dan. You called up Sheila Ford and you're like, hey, man, I really want to come and coach in Detroit, man. I got a plan, man. All I think about is you guys, man. I got a vision, man. It's clear as day, man. Rah, rah, man. I get it, man. It's fun, right? Dan Campbell seems like a really fun guy, man. And I bet he would make a hell of a used life insurance salesman, man. But I don't think he got the chops to be a head coach, man. And I know that I shouldn't be saying this because the season is still relatively young and he could still turn it around and I could still change my tune. I just know that with what I seen this weekend out of the Falcons, out of the Giants, and out of the Jets, Dan Campbell does not stack up to those 3 coaching staffs as far as talent, as far as decision-making, play calling, second half adjustments. Dan Campbell's just not that guy, man. We have a more talented roster. I'm not saying our defense compares to those guys, right? Like, our defense is trash. Our defense has a few bright spots, right? Hutch could be good if he'd figure it out, or if AG would put him in a position to succeed. If there was a complimentary piece somewhere on the defense to help him with pressure. Malcolm Rodriguez is going to be solid. What else is a shining spot? What, Jeff Okudah bouncing back? Yay! Outside of Detroit, no one gives a shit about Jeff Okudah, man. Outside of Detroit, Jeff Okudah is the fact that in Detroit, we're over here championing, hey, Jeff Okudah. Boy, Jeff Okudah sure is playing good. Jeff Okudah wouldn't start on any other team, man. Jeff Okudah would be a depth piece on any other team, man. Our team's a joke, dude. Our team's not a joke. Our coaching staff is a joke. And I'm a clown, right? Like, I want to like Dan Campbell. I do, man. But when I see the success of Robert Saleh, who wanted to come and coach in Detroit, man. He wanted to come here, man. He wanted to come here, man. He wanted to be the head coach here, man. But Sheila Ford was like, hey, man, this guy, Dan Campbell, who's a tight ends coach in New Orleans, called me and was like, hey, Sheila, I want to be the head coach of the Detroit Lions, man. And I hired him. Nobody thought Dan Campbell was a head coach, except for Sheila Ford. And you know what, though? I guess sometimes you take a chance, and sometimes it works out. I just don't see it working out, man. I just don't see it working out. I don't know what we do moving forward, fellas. Dallas is going to be a rough matchup. It's going to be rough playing Dallas, man. They're going to be pissed. Our defense is going to make Ezekiel Elliott look like vintage Zeke, man. Who knows? Maybe we come out after the bye week and we've made some adjustments. Maybe they take Hutch's hand out of the dirt and put him in a 2-point stance where he was successful in college. Maybe guys getting healthy will help out, man. Maybe all these things happen, man. Maybe everything works out the way we want to, man. Maybe we I can't even say it. Maybe we win out the rest of the year. And Dan Campbell proves us all wrong. And he shows us that he's got a 10,000 IQ, man. Anyway, so if you made it this long in the video, appreciate it. That's super nice of you. I'll let you kind of know what's going on. I know last week was a little short. It was the bye week. I had some work bullshit popping off. Who knows? I might be finding a new job here in the next little bit. I don't know, man. But I just kind of wanted to take the bye week and just kind of chill a little bit. It was nice, you know. I'm sure that the YouTube algorithm gods are not going to appreciate it, and I will be punished for not coming to YouTube work, but I'm thinking about consolidating the videos, and instead of doing 4 uploads, I think of consolidating the offense and defensive breakdown videos into one and just calling it like a stats breakdown. Because, I mean, if you made it this long, you're probably one of the people that watches those videos, which I super again appreciate, you know, but they're not really like the best performing videos. But I still like to talk about it, but I don't feel like making 2 separate videos anymore. That kind of gets a little redundant, a little tiresome on my end as well. But I was thinking about consolidating them down, and then this week I'll probably only have a preview video coming out at the end of the week for the Cowboys game. But I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna put this up tonight or tomorrow. It kind of depends on how I feel the rest of the afternoon. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. We'll catch you in the next one. See ya.